Dude, this was only 20 bucks? Hollow Knight Silksong released a couple of weeks ago and literally melted the internet. Then, once Steam tried to stand back up, Silksong drop-kicked the concurrent player count, cementing its place in not just indie game history, but gaming overall. In an unbelievable twist, dude, even pirates were buying it rather than stealing it. Has that ever happened? Am I high? So all was cool in the kingdom, right? Well, a couple of days after the launch, I started seeing news articles from other indie developers expressing frustration that the game was priced at only $20. Wait, what? Let me back up a bit. When the game was in pre-launch, the news articles coming out were praising it for only being $20, almost like it was a big, horned middle finger to the bigger game studios who continue to raise their prices from year to year. Whether or not those studios should be doing that or not is far beyond the scope of this video, but it was something that made me stop and think about how such a massive game could be priced so affordably. Remember, describing products, you don't want to say cheap. Cost effective, anyone? Now, these latest articles almost completely flipped that script, and I wanted to put together a video and hear all your thoughts, though, I gotta say, it took me a little longer to get to this than I meant to. Sorry. Let's break this down and investigate a little further. A large number of indie devs came out to complain about Silksong only being $20, flipping the narrative on its head. Not only did Silksong manage to push off the release of several indie titles a couple of weeks ago due to fear of that competition, it's now worrying the developers that this is going to be what people expect a $20 game to look like. Describing Team Cherry as a group of independently wealthy developers, they argued that Team Cherry was able to take as long as they did because they aren't really relying on the profits this game generated to keep the lights on. In addition, they could price it so low because their development costs were close to zero, unlike a traditional dev house. In contrast, the studio behind Lone Fungus points out that they live and die by the proceeds of these indie games, so it's priced based on absolute necessity. You always see people coming out during conversations like these and expressing extremely strong opinions about what we're considering a, quote, fair price. And to be honest, I'm not sure where I even land on this whole thing, but I tell you what, reading these articles and thinking about Silksong's price really made me stop in my tracks and consider a couple points that I haven't before. Now, let's take the second part of the argument, alright? So, let's forget other developers claiming that Team Cherry actually don't have the same concerns about overheads and cash flow that these other devs do, but that releases such as these are going to alter the public perception on what a $20 game looks like. So, following that to the end of the road, if another dev charged $20 but provided less content than Silksong, it would be perceived as a scam, right? And pricing over $20? Forget about that! Team Cherry raised the bar so high that it got stuck in orbit around the planet, and your game would need to be more amazing than that to stand a chance. Look, I get that hyperbole is everywhere these days. Hell, I needed to make you all click on my videos, but I gotta say I feel for these developers and understand why they're so worked up over this. So I had a cool idea. Let's take some time and check out some of the offerings from the studios launching the complaints. Oh, and please don't go send hate to anyone over this. I simply researched this topic and am relaying what I found, but these are real people concerned about getting their work out there, which I believe is completely valid, and want to take a moment to spotlight them, however small that spotlight may be. Mentioned earlier, Basti Art Games has the game Lone Fungus, which is a Metroidvania. This one looks to be a pretty good time. Looks like you got some melee, some good acrobatics, and some sort of charm system here too that changes up the way the gameplay goes. Super big map, and this looks like something right up my alley. Jumping around, grabbing cables and rails, and hopping between obstacles. Then we got D-Cell with Unbeatable. This actually looks pretty dope, though I'm not that super into rhythm games. I know the people who are, though, go really, really hard. Harder than most, in fact. It's got this really dope 2D to 3D art style and a charming anime aesthetic. If this catches your eye, there's a demo available that you can check out on Steam. Finally, let's check out Starbirds. This is one of those resource management games, which I'm the absolute last person you want to listen to about games like this. I don't know what to compare it to gameplay-wise, but I like the look and the feel of this. I don't know, I'm like a retro, old school, kind of platformer RPG type guy, not the RTS, Civilization, all that good stuff. Not my cup of tea.
The more you unlock, smarter technologies, better.
Hey, thanks for checking out my video. I'd really love to hear from you all. Have you gotten Silksong? What'd you think of it? I haven't grabbed it yet, but I really want to. After hearing the devs' opinions, do you think it's colored the way that you're gonna look at indie game prices moving forward? What I noticed when checking out the replies, and what the articles mentioned as well, is that most people were encouraging the devs to charge whatever they need to, and to not hold themselves to the standards of Silksong. But I guess time will tell how it all plays out. I haven't grabbed my copy yet, but the original Hollow Knight is one of my all-time favorite games. Let me know!